Once again, drum and bass. Most of you have already heard that outstanding, fabulous, mind-blowing, hard-hitting Limitless remix by Arcando. In my Set Me Free remake video, I mentioned I would remake this one because, why not? I'm super happy with this remake. It's not super accurate, especially the B part of the drop, but it sounds pretty close. The Limitless lead, oh, it's sort of accurate in my opinion. Let's dive straight into the drop. First up, the drop drums. Arcando usually uses short snappy drums. I added a short kick with a top layer for that extra spice. Then I used 4 snares, 2 top layers for texture that cover the highs and 2 main layers for that lows, giving the snare its body. And you have probably guessed the next thing. I added bunch of top loops, crashes and effects for groove, plus short fills for that extra touch. For the drum processing, on the top kick, I added EQ, so we can only have the high end of the top kick. Then it's linked to the main kick channel, where I added EQ to shape the sound, transient shaper, then at last a clipper. Then for the snares, on these layers, sort of top snare, I added this EQ to shape it. Then it's linked to the main snare channel, where I added EQ to cut the unnecessary lows, then transient shaper to shape the sound, then at last a clipper. And for the shakers and drop fills, same processing, just EQ, transient shaper to shape it, clipper. And one thing which I added on shakers, like overall all the top loops and cymbals, is that a short side chain which is linked to the kick. So whenever the kick plays, it ducks down, so the kick transient will have more space in the mix. Then these bass tabs. This one is from this Limitless remake video, and I bet you all downloaded that project. It was one of the best Limitless remake. Then added more stabs to make it sound like the original. Then I also added some Atmos loops from Atmospheric Sample Pack Volume 2. Link is in the description. That's it for the drums. Now let's move on to the drop synths. Let's start with the drop lead. I hope you have all watched 6 Limitless lead sound remake. It's sort of the same patch, but I made a few adjustments to make it more accurate. I used basic shapes on both oscillators, with the second one set to +3 octaves and +7 semitones up. Then added phase distortion from B on oscillator A. Then enable the noise oscillator and select bright noise. Just listen to this, it's pretty close. But the real sauce is boosting the main harmonics, if that's what it's called. Enable the filter, select peak 12 and hit Alt plus left click. As you can see, there's this peak for that main harmonics. I boosted it and enabled key tracking so it follows every note. Without this, it stays in one place. Then I enable the filter too to reduce the high end of the noise, and that's it. And for the effects, just add a compressor, soft clip distortion and EQ for adjustments. That's it. And that's only one layer for the lead sound. Then for the post processing, I added camel crusher for more distortion. Then again EQ to boost the harmonics. I used LFO tool and shaper box for the same stutter automation effect. So if you download the FLP, you can use any of them. I added compression and another EQ to shape it. The rest of the effects are for automation. Valhalla room for reverb automation, fruity balance for build-up automation to control the volume in the build-up, plus another for sidechain. Then at last clipper to cut the peaks. Now the lead for the B part or bass. I don't know, it sounds like this. It's the same patch as the main lead using sine waves, distortion and compression. I'm automating the phase distortion through a macro in the drop for those glitchy gritty sounds. It starts clean but ends with a slightly glitched tone. I've also added this pitch bend automation for all the leads and the bass. For the effects, I added EQ to cut the low end, then decapitator and camel crusher for distortion, again EQ to shape the sound, then saturation, EQ, then LFO tool for automation, same compression, again EQ to cut the low end. Then I added this sub bass. For the effects, camel crusher for distortion, EQ to shape the sound, then LFO tool and compressor and again EQ. That's it. It's routed to the bass sidechain bus. The longer clip is for the bass and the shorter one is for the lead. Now, the mid bass. For the A part, the mid bass is clean with no noise. I automated the noise and enable it for the B part only. Layers, For the mid-bass processing, camel crushing for distortion, then EQ to shape the sound, again EQ to shape the sound, then alpha tool and shaper box for automation, then same compression, then EQ to shape it. Then for the sub-bass, just EQ to cut the highs. Then I added another mid-bass for extra texture and a dance floor DNB bass. And I also added a Reese bass fill from my Set Me Free remake. You can check it out if you want. And yeah, that's it for the drop synths. And for some ear candies, these plug shots not accurate, but they do the job. I rendered them out to chop them. Now for the intro, I added a tonal shot from my atmospheric. Then a chord. And a Reese bass. To fill the empty space, I use a lot of samples. Some of the drones are from Atmospheric Sample Pack Volume 1, which is free. Definitely check it out. I also added some vocal samples and clock effect. Now for the build-up, I included a bunch of snares, kick, drop claps and transition effects to build tension. And for synths, we have a distorted sine wave, the main lead sound playing the root note, and a sustained Reese bass for tension. Don't forget the build-up automations like volume and high-pass filters. And by the way, the track has tempo automation. To create it, first make a separate automation clip for the starting point and the final point. Then copy the value of the final point, like the final tempo, and paste it at the end of the initial tempo clip for that smooth transition. I don't know why, but automating tempo in FL Studio is a bit weird. You cannot input a specific tempo number. You have to use percentage, which is a bit of pain. Or maybe I just don't know how to do it properly. And yeah, I worked on the second part, but it's almost the same. In the second verse, I added this bass and this pluck. Not accurate, but they sound good. Then we have the same build up and the drop. The only new thing is this screech bass. It's not accurate, but yeah, it sounds cool. Let's just say I was not able to recreate that bass sound. And for the master, Suit 2, Clipper to cut the peaks, then Limiter to boost the overall track. And that's it for the track. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can get the FLP of this track, and you can also check out my all project bundle, which includes 10 FLP remakes of your favorite artists. And if you're looking for some Atmos sparkles in your tracks, grab Atmospheric Sample Pack Volume 2. It's the best way to support the channel so I can keep making these videos. Find them at anasamirmusic.com. Link is in the description. And I will meet you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Now, let's check out the final result.